okay, so that's what I received. So let's hope for the best. We're going to pray for it, and that I have angel circles at my house every month, and even a second every month in Palo Alto. So we do a lot of prayer for the world, for all that. But what was so very exciting was that I received that information at the end of November. Beginning of December, Carol and I and a few more people, we went to listen to Lee Carroll. Anybody knows Lee Carroll?
Yeah. Lee Carroll?
Lee Carroll. If you don't know him, please go to his website, CHN.Inc. He's a guy who I was lucky enough to get to know 25 years ago when he started his work. He was a real, just completely normal engineer, which he always repeats. He was normal, he used to be. But at some point there was a psychic that told him, oh, there's a team of angels called CHN who want to get hold of you because you're going to change the world. And he was thinking, oh my God, they're crazy. And then in order to... K-R-Y-O-N.
Chiron.
CHN. K-R-Y-O-N. Yeah, I can send you a link if you want it. Yeah. And, and what made him finally question more was that 3 years later, he found himself on the East Coast in New York, where his wife, who was very spiritual, was not attending. And he thought, well, let me go see a psychic here. We're going to see what they say. My wife is not there to influence them. I'll go ask. And he goes see that young man, by chance, who had a neon sign psychic. And guess what this guy says?
Wait a minute, what?
You have a team of angels called CHN waiting for you to open yourself to them. You're going to change the world. And he was like, oh my God. How can that be? I mean, the person in South Los Angeles or San Diego could never have been talking to that guy he chose by pure chance. So he was thinking, okay, there must be something. And then he started telling them, okay, if you do exist, show yourself. Guess what? They showed themselves. And so for 25 years now, he's been doing the work.
How they show them? Like how your angel look like? Are they your size or smaller? How do they show it?
Thank you for asking that. Yeah, it's also one of the things I'm going to address, but I can answer it right away. So, for people, we mostly have a sense of those beautiful angels with their wings, don't we?
Yeah.
That's really what we envision a lot because of these Renaissance pictures that we have been given. And interestingly enough, often they're going to show themselves like that. However, do they look like that? No, because who are they? They are light. They do not have a form. We take form when we enter the world of matter here in this three-dimensional experience. For them, they are in the much higher dimensions. Who are the angels? They are the divine making himself known to us, making herself, kind of reducing these amazing frequencies we could never bear. We would be burnt on the spot if we were in direct contact with the divine. So angels are like a bridge for us humans to be able to connect back still to the divine and receive all the love. And so they don't really have a form, but they are going to take a form for us if that is what is needed for us to acknowledge them. So accordingly, we're even sometimes going to go that far that with our physical eyes, we're going to see them in the room. This has happened a bunch of times to me. Normally, I just see them myself, I cannot describe that well. It's an inside picture. They are here at the moment. I'm sure that if we have some clairvoyant people here in the room, you can feel, because it's all crowded, it goes all the way out into the garden. They don't mind walls and windows. It doesn't refrain them from being there.
But when you were talking about your grandfather,
yeah.
I mean, I understood that his soul left his body.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't understand how he became angel, because it's a process, I think, that he should have gone through to go to the other world. And
so let me correct something there right away. I didn't say he became an angel. I said he showed himself to me in his light body. Because when we leave the earth, we leave the physical body behind that we don't need anymore. We've done our job. Great, thank you, we're good. We can go back, zoop, and expand, and we're back in the light. when we are back in the light, I'll get back to you, then again, we are mostly going to still be so imprinted by what we just went through, by the lifetime we just left, that we are still going to take form. That's simply automatic, that happens within us. And I had a near-death experience myself when my youngest daughter was 3, so I know how it happens. It's exactly like that, that you just instantly recreate that body that you just had, but it has no consistency. You know, you can touch each other with others, but it goes through. It's different. And you can be also at any place, anytime. It's not limited. You walk through the table. If you see angels in the room, they're going to really walk through tables, through sofas, through walls. Nothing refrains them. They are light. Okay. So my grandfather was not immediately an angel. My grandfather was just showing himself in his body of light, which is something that we all do. I've seen it happen with many occasions. 2005, I remember, for example, I came out from a class I was taking as a hypnotherapist. I was redoing a new master's of hypnotherapy in Palo Alto at the school there. And like 10 o'clock at night, I'm coming back to my house at the traffic light, waiting for the red traffic light. Suddenly, my father is there in his light body. When you see somebody in their light body, that means they have just done the transition, or they're just doing it, either or. And I was not expecting that from my dad. I had visited him in Versailles just a month before. He was doing very well. But here he was, and letting me know of his message, and I was giving him what came from me. And interestingly enough, then, by the time I just did my U-turn, parked, went up to the apartment, my telephone rang, and one of my sisters in Paris called and said, "Oh, our father just had a stroke and he just died." So that was in response to this contact we just had with him, where he was still asking me for my permission to leave. Oh. And I don't know why I gave it, I really don't know, but in the moment, you know, it was me saying, "Oh yes, of course, Dad." And then after that I was thinking, why did I say yes? Why? I love my dad.
Can they stay in the light body even though that they are going to another dimension? Can they be both in the other dimension and here as a light body?
Remember, they're not confined. You can be many places and still be aware of your loved ones here. I believe
they are with us. You know, that's why there are all these poems and stories of people who tell you, "Hey, don't be that sad. I'm with you." They really are with us. My partner who died 1997, I'll tell the story afterwards. He's still sometimes playing with me. You know, when I'm cooking and it smells really good, he goes, "Oh, I love your food." Yeah? So, Lee?
At times I feel I experience them, angels, in the form of ectoplasm.
Yes.
Is that really real, or am I imagining things? And it will disappear, and you know, but I can actually sense it, feel it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's untouchable, but I know that.
Yeah, it's just untouchable to our 5 senses. And we have lived for many, many incarnations at the moment with the belief that reality or truth is what you can touch, see, hear, taste, and so on with those physical senses. Well, the reality is much, much, much bigger. The reality is, in truth, we are multidimensional beings. So there's a part of us that is existent with us while we're in the body that can also connect with the higher dimensions. Luckily, otherwise we wouldn't make it. We wouldn't be here. Yeah. So no wonder you can feel that. We have 4 channels with which we can connect with the higher dimensions, and we are, all of us, hardwired with these 4 channels. And I have been teaching psychic development classes for many years now. I've seen it. People learn it. They get back to it. It's not a difficult process. It's something that is built in. We just need to trust again, and whoop, here it is. And so those 4 channels are, as you probably know, the clear vision. That's the one that is, of course, very fun, because you see them and you see your deceased loved ones, you see ascended masters, you see, well, everybody in those dimensions. You have the clear audience, where you're going to receive them with your inner ears, sometimes even all the way to your physical ears. If you're going to be facing a difficult situation, maybe an accident or what, and you need to brake or change lane, they're going to scream so loud you hear them physically. And afterwards, I've heard many people always tell me, yeah, they really screamed, brake, and luckily, because then there was a guy passing at red and that type of thing. So they're going to take care of us in that way as well. We have the clear cognizance, which maybe some of you know. It's something that's quite exciting. Whenever you are going to be able to be of service, if you come from a place of unconditional love for people around you, you're going to be receiving some information about them. And even though you've never met them before, as you meet them, you know, oh, they're going through a difficult situation. They have a divorce going on, or one of the kids is sick, or whatever, and you get that kind of information. It will always have a reason. It will always be because at some point you're going to be able to have the time to work with them a little bit, help them, bring them some support. Yeah. And clear ascensions is the one channel that mostly is still present in everyone, because parents haven't had the possibility so much, or society or teachers, to go make you forget about it. Every time when a child says, no, I don't like that person, she's all brown, then parents say, that's not true, he's not brown, because they think brown skin. And they were thinking, the kids were meaning brown aura, brown energy field. It's different. It has a completely different meaning. And whereas when a child just says, oh, I don't feel good, or I feel great, or what, parents can't say, oh no, that's not true, if the child says they feel. So the clear sensing, the feeling, is mostly still there. That's the beauty. So at least that one is still there. But otherwise, we have at our disposition all 4 of the channels. And we can learn to open ourselves to all of these. Anybody in the room is a clear seeing person, or clear audio? Or
Well,
Virginia is. And
once I saw my brother standing by my dad,
see, yes, exactly. Yeah.
and I just talked to him, and then he left.
Yeah, but he was happy, and you were happy, weren't you?
Yeah.
It's always extremely healing to have the possibility to see them again. And they mostly do that. It's not always easy for them. It uses a lot of energy for them to manifest themselves so far that we can see them with the physical eyes.
Okay.
They have to really lower the density a lot. But out of love, they do that. And they come to see us.
Sometimes it's very nerve-wracking and scary, though.
Yeah. But you know, you can always regulate that. In that case, just tell them immediately, wait, you're too loud, or you know, and they will adapt, always. Because whenever they make a contact with us, it's always out of love, always.
But,
So,
you know, my father passed away kind of 10 months ago, and before that he passed away because we never understood each other. And I told him before that I don't want that be contacted. And the only time I just get in the sleep, in the dream, I got a phone call, and it was his voice, and it was like an old-time telephonist, and he said, your father wants to talk with you if you allow that. And I said, and I was away, I said, he's dead, how he's calling me, and why he himself asking about my father, and I said, yeah, of course. And then I woke up, the things break.
but you have said yes, and that's what was necessary. You know, it was kind of like a forgiving. It was like a reconnection. Because what happens is that for us souls, remember we said it before this morning when we were working together, we're all one. We really, truly are all one. And so sometimes we as a soul have given ourselves experiences that were difficult. And in order to counterbalance that experience from previous lifetimes, for example, we're going to need to have a different experience. So somebody else was going to come in, so that we can counterbalance the story. And then what happens in that case is the fact that we are going to be, I'm looking for the words in English. Sorry that I'm trying to figure out the word. You have the possibility, whenever somebody has left the earth, that they can still be reached in any time, in any possibility. It's not anything special. What is going to be most important is the fact that as our souls evolve, we need at some point to come to that point of possibility to be reunited, to find love again between us. So even if on the earth level you had the sense that your dad was not your best partner or what, and you still had also apparently obvious reasons why you still had resentments toward him, well, it could not remain like that. As long as there is still an imbalance within ourselves or with other people, this imbalance needs to be balanced again. Yeah? And so that's why what they do from the other side, because they have a much higher awareness when on the other side they receive a lot of help, so that they can evolve very rapidly. So they can look back at their life, and if, let's say, for example, the dad did not behave in the best fashion with his daughter, then there is regret. And that type of energy is negative. So it keeps him around you. It keeps him so that he needs to talk to you. He wants to talk to you and say, look, we need to forgive. He wants to forgive you. He wants to be forgiven. And that's what happens. That's why when I make contacts for people to reconnect with their loved ones, it's almost always about forgiveness. When loved ones are still waiting to be able to visit their loved ones on earth, they always have something that was keeping them still attached.